Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I'm Lily Peterson and in today's video I am going to be making foods that put me in the mood for fall because I love fall and I'm so happy that this week it will be officially here. So since I live in Texas and it is still hot and doesn't quite feel like fall, I can start acting like it's fall, and that makes me very, very happy because I love fall. I just do. Well, today I'm going to be making treats that are healthy and savory and some that you might be familiar with. And what I love about them is they make your house smell like the holidays, like you've got family coming over. And hardly anybody has anybody coming over these days. I really miss my friends. I really miss a lot of my family members. I need this. I need this really bad. So I'm going to show you some really cool healthy treats for your toddler that will help you sneak some vegetables into their tummies. If you have a toddler like mine who is protesting most vegetables, I think you will find this very helpful. And a wonderful gluten-free cornbread recipe that I am pointing out to you. It is not mine, but it is a wonderful recipe that you will love. Some yummy sweet potato hash and some bacon wrapped dates. I'm very excited. Can you tell? Hit that like button because I know you're going to like this. And I would love for you to subscribe if you like what you see. Let's get to it. Okay, so the first thing I am starting with is my sneaky smoothie. At least that's what I call it because my toddler has no idea how much spinach I put in this thing. And you are going to love the taste of it. He loves the taste of it. It is extremely healthy and you'll be glad that you made it. Alright, so I'm going to start with my triple berry blend and some frozen strawberries and baby spinach for this smoothie. So I'm going to take a couple of handfuls of my berries and a tiny fistful of my strawberries. And then I'm going to add a very large fistful of the spinach because I want to get a lot of spinach in there. My milk of choice that I'm adding is hemp milk along with 2 tablespoons of honey. Now with my milk, I like to be very generous because I like my smoothie kind of watery, but you can judge how you like it from that point. Blend it all up till it's nice and smooth. And I'm going to pour a cup for my son, and then I'm going to pour the rest for myself and enjoy. Okay, next, since I have all of the ingredients here with me, I'm going to make a very easy puree, if you will, for my toddler. This is a way that I sneak vegetables into his body because he loves those applesauce pouches and any of those sweet food pouches. He tends to really love purees. So for this recipe, you're going to need 4 ingredients: organic canned pears, some cooked black beans, 1 avocado, and some baby spinach. I take the canned pears. I particularly like the Sprouts brand because it has a good amount of juice in the can and I don't feel like I have to add water to the mixture. 1 whole avocado, 2 tablespoons of your black beans, and a fistful of your baby spinach. I like to put my blender on the food chop setting first. That seems to help everything break up really nicely. And then I blend it on low until it is very, very smooth and that there are no large chunks of spinach or black beans left. So I keep the blender going on this until the pieces of black bean and spinach are just really tiny specks because if they're any bigger and my son feels that black bean skin or anything like that, he's not going to eat it. So you blend it until it's really, really smooth. I pour the mixture in these take-along containers. I find that these are very useful. I purchased them from Walmart, and I use them to store a lot of my son's food. And then I sprinkle a little bit of lemon juice on the top of each mixture, and that helps preserve the avocado for as long as possible. I give it a stir, put the lids on, and then refrigerate it. Okay, so now I'm going to make a couple of more things that make me feel like fall and help me get into that fall mood. And one of those things is cornbread. We were at a relative's house earlier this year, back in January and February, and my husband was eating some cornbread that they had made. And at that moment I realized that I don't make cornbread year round. I tend to make it only around this time of year into the winter. So for my husband's sake, I'm going to try to remember to make it more. But this cornbread recipe is a gluten-free cornbread that he actually really likes better than the cornbread from the Jiffy Mix. The two main ingredients that you're going to need first is Bob's Red Mill gluten-free cornmeal and some gluten-free flour. When I use Bob Red Mill's products, I like to use their recipe because I have found from trial and error that their recipes that they recommend, usually on the back of the flour or on their website, work better with their products. So I'm going to use the cornbread recipe that's on the back of the cornmeal package, but I'm also going to link it for you below. So the recipe calls for a 1/3 cup of oil or butter. I'm going to use butter because that is my husband's preference. And what I like to do is put it in my pan with my already preheated oven and let the butter melt in the pan before I add the batter to the pan. It doesn't take very long for the butter to melt, and I'm going to take that out and sit it on the stove while I get my batter ready. So first you will need 1.5 cups of the Bob's Red Mill gluten-free flour, or their baking 1-to-1 flour, and then 1 1/4 cups of the gluten-free cornmeal. And then you'll need 2 tablespoons of sugar. Now I ran into a problem with my sugar. I opened the bag and I found little tiny bugs inside. Now in this picture you can only see one of the bugs because when I first opened it, all the bugs that were on top dove deeper into the sugar. So that goes to show exactly how much I use actual cane sugar. So I'm going to use honey instead. So I'm using 2 tablespoons of honey. I'm going to stir that up a bit after adding the honey. Then I will add 2 teaspoons of the baking powder, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 1 1/4 cup of milk, 2 eggs, and then I'm going to add some of the butter from my pan, but not quite all of it. Stick it in your 375-degree oven and cook it for 30 minutes. And use a toothpick to check and see if the middle comes out clean. And that's when you'll know it's done. So I'm going to take a moment and do to my cornmeal what I should have did with my sugar and store it in one of my containers. I get these containers from IKEA. I love them. They have a wonderful seal and they keep all of my flours and different types of ingredients nice and fresh. And now for the sweet potato hash. You're going to start with 2 large sweet potatoes. You're going to chop those up into 1-inch cubes. And then you're going to take a yellow onion, chop it up, and a red and yellow bell pepper, chop that up as well. and a bushel of celery, chopped and added to the pan. Once all your vegetables are added to the pan, you're going to drizzle some olive oil fairly generously back and forth over the entire platter of vegetables. Then you will add your spices. For your spices, 2 pinches of salt, a light sprinkle of pepper, 2 pinches of thyme, rosemary, and parsley. Then you're going to stir it all together and stick it in your oven at 400 degrees. I like to cook mine between 30 and 45 minutes. I stir the mixture about halfway through the cook time. It does come out clean. I love the way cornbread makes your house smell. The house smells amazing right now. Keep in mind that this does not rise in the same way that regular cornbread will, nor will it look the same. But it is ready, and it looks very buttery. I can tell from those sunken moist areas where the butter was. Alright, so I've got the sweet potato hash in the oven, and now that my house is still filled with the buttery aroma of the cornbread, now that I've thrown in the sweet potatoes plus those herbs and the celery, it's gonna smell amazing. It's gonna smell even more like the holidays, which is what I love about the start of fall in the first place, is the start of the holiday season. You'll see, if you make all of these things, you will see how amazing your house will smell. The sweet potato hash is already smelling amazing, so I'm gonna check it. Sometimes it's hard to know how long to cook it because you want to be able to stick a fork through your sweet potatoes, and that's how you know when it's ready. Here it is. It's just gonna give it a stir and turn everything over. It's gonna be really good. Okay, so let's cut into the cornbread and see what it tastes like. All right, I put some butter melting on the top because it's butter. You can't get enough of butter, right? Okay. Oh, I need a plate. All right. Okay, I'm gonna taste a sliver of this cornbread. Oh, that tastes nice. That's very nice. So don't worry, I am definitely linking the recipe below from the Bob's Red Mill website. Last Thanksgiving was my first time hosting Thanksgiving. I had been going to people's houses for Thanksgiving and my family's house for Thanksgiving pretty much our entire marriage and even before that. So I used this cornbread as the base to my dressing for my turkey this past Thanksgiving, and I really liked how the dressing turned out, and I got a good idea of what I want to change and tweak and all that stuff. So I highly recommend this cornbread recipe as a base for cornbread stuffing if you are gluten-free and sugar-free, or I should say cane sugar-free. Very, very hot. Alright, so the hash is finished now. I did it about 20 minutes covered and about 45 minutes whole time in the oven. And what I love about sweet potato hash is there's so much that you can do with it. I like putting it on top of my salad sometimes. I also like putting two fried eggs, slightly runny in the center, on top. It tastes so good. So those are a couple of ideas of what you can do, or you could just use it as a side dish to your main course, like your chicken or beef or whatever it is you're making. So this next one is one of my all-time favorites, and that is bacon wrapped dates. I love these so much, and I owe it all to my coworkers from my last job at my last school. If it hadn't been for them, I would have never ever tasted these, and they taste amazing. So the first thing you will need is your baking pan. And what I have here is some vegetable shortening. And I'm just going to take my paper towel and I'm going to rub some vegetable shortening all over my baking pan so that my bacon wrapped dates release from the pan a lot easier once I take them out of the oven. And I have some hickory smoked uncured bacon that is cane sugar free, and I have some medjool fresh pitted dates. I'm going to take my kitchen shears, slit open the bag, and I'm going to take the bacon and cut them in half. And I'm going to use each slice of bacon to roll along on the dates. But before I do that, I'm going to wash my hands with soap and water before I touch my other things again. So I'm going to open my package of dates. I'm going to count out the ones that I need, and then I'm going to get started. And what's going to help me a lot with that is toothpicks. That will help hold the bacon in place. Alright, so you're going to set your oven to 425 degrees, stick in your dates, and cook them for about 18 minutes or so until your bacon is done and crispy. I just took the bacon wrapped dates out of the oven. I had to cook mine a little longer. I had some really fatty bacon. And this is what it looks like here. So you see where those juices are kind of charred because I put the vegetable shortening there. You could see that charredness just comes right off. See, so it's not hurting the pan at all, which is what I love about vegetable shortening. It smells amazing. If this doesn't put you in the mood for fall, I don't know what will. And you're going to have to let it cool down quite a bit because the inside of the date is moist and very hot. So let them cool all the way down before you eat them. All right, there you have it, everybody. Some yummy things for us to pick out on this Friday night. And I'm going to save some bacon wrapped dates for some of my family who live down the street. Maybe I can deliver some of those. Anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I'm so glad that you stopped by and gave it a watch. Thank you. And I hope you come around again very, very soon. Or stick around and watch more of my videos. I am linking below Bob's Red Mill's website to all of these wonderful gluten-free recipes that they have that you could use with their flour and their other products, because I really love their gluten-free products. I am also linking below my social media links in case you want to connect. I would love that. And I hope you come around again soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.